course. Well, yeah, like it said, my dad did this when I was a kid, and then I went to school. I studied the arts and photography. I did photography for a while. I wasn't making that much money. And then when we got married, we lived in New York. We moved here, and right away I found a job working at a upholstery shop. And I started doing the stuff, and the guy was like, "Well, he knows what he's doing." I became one of his top upholsterers. And one day we had a customer in there, and he wanted to know about certain way to how to do the webbing and the this and that. So I'm explaining to him, and he says, "You're very good explaining things. Why you should go teach the upholstery class at Kirkwood." That was the first time I found out there was a class at Kirkwood. I said, "Oh, they have a class," and he says, "Yeah, but the teacher, he retired. They're looking for somebody." So we did. I went there. We had a meeting. The next thing you know, I'm teaching at Kirkwood. 16 years I had the class. I did enjoy that, and as the classes were at night, I worked during the day in here. At night, I go teach the class, and it was all good. This lady, she took my class, and we became friends. And she wanted to take the class again. I said, "Hey, Mary, why don't you just come and work in my shop?" And I went to my table. I started cutting fabric, and she was sitting at that sewing machine over there. And she says, "Hey, how come your right calf is so much bigger than your left calf?" I thought she was joking around. I looked at her. I'm like, "What?" She says, "Yeah, honestly." So we got the measuring tape. We measured. It was a good half-inch bigger, wider. She says, "You have any pain?" I'm like, "No, I don't have any pain." She says, "I'm going to the airport to pick up my husband. He's coming back from a medical conference from Chicago. I'll bring him here and have him look at this." And so she left, and a couple hours later they come back together, and he gets on the floor. He's touching my calf, and he's shaking his head, and he looked up, and I saw his eyes. Then I knew there was something wrong. He says, "This shouldn't be like this. There's something major." Right away he called St. Luke's, and he says, "I'm sending this guy tomorrow morning for an x-ray." So that next day, when day after day, it was a different test. He didn't skip one day. The last thing was they called him and another doctor at PCI, Dr. Buckwalter, and they said, "This is emergency. We can't wait. He has to come there tomorrow for a biopsy." It was Sunday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. The guy that did the biopsy, he called here, 6 in the morning. He said, "I have good news and bad news. The bad news is this tumor in your calf is cancer. It's so big we cannot do surgery to remove it. Synovial sarcoma. And the good news is that we can help you, and you're gonna be fine." And I kept telling him, "I don't have cancer. You got the wrong patient." The poor guy, he's like, "I'm sorry, I did the biopsy. You rode your motorcycle." And basically, and they ended up rushing me to the surgery, 13-hour surgery. It took me 6-7 years to accept the fact that I'm disabled. When you go to the hospital, you do the surgery, and then when the day they want to let you go, they have to put you in a wheelchair and bring you to the door. It's their policy. I told the lady I don't want to sit on the wheelchair. She says, "I'm sorry, it's our policy." I said, "Damn it, I don't like wheelchairs." course. Scott, he's a down-to-earth, nice guy, a family guy. Every time I see him, I tell him, "Kiss your kids for me." He's got a couple little ones, and he knows his work. When I started going there, he asked me about what issues I had, and he wrote everything down. And I said, I don't want this to be like that. I don't want that to be like this. So he listened to everything I said. I said, the leg is too heavy. He said, oh, no problem. I'll put these cuts in there, it'll make it lighter. And honest to God, he did exactly what I was after. He gave me the leg, I put it on, and I'm like, oh my God. My friend, she was here yesterday, and I told them that you guys are coming here today, and she says, that's great, I'm so happy for you. The fact that when I saw you last year, you had a hard time even walking, you know, and now you bike, you work, you're so active, you cook at night, and you know, exercise is very important. And with the swimming and cycling.
And how many miles you doing a day right now, cycling wise?
Close to 30 miles. So many in the morning, so many in the afternoon. On weekends, I try to do just in the morning. I do like 15 miles north, 15 miles back. That's 30 miles. I found that if you put yourself on a schedule, daily schedule, and follow it, you don't become depressed. You know, get up every morning, do your work, do your exercise, and don't let it skip one day. When I was God, you don't ask for anything like this, but when it happens, do your best and do what it was you were doing before.